What's going on, guys? This is another edition of Inside the Hatches Player Interview. I'm Jerome Jones, and I am privileged to interview none other than quarterback Baylin Trujillo. Me and the former USF and Orlando Predators quarterback will be talking about his time at USF, his time playing on Orlando Predators, what it's like to play arena pro football, and his ventures of being a CEO of a corporation called BTruQBtraining, and to go out into the community and help young athletes work on their craft. All that and more in this two-part series. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Let's get right into it. Just going to the beginning, tell me about why did you start the company and how were you able to not only just start it but juggle, playing arena football and doing your company as well.
My experiences at USF, that's where I got my passion. I knew if I didn't make it to the highest level that I was going to go into coaching. And because of how I felt as an athlete myself, always learning about the quarterback position and how to break down defenses and timing of drop steps and why you throw here. In high school, all I thought was, hey, you have a strong arm and you're athletic, you're going to get a scholarship. But the people that see the field are the ones that are trained and the ones that know what they're doing. I knew if I, get the opportunity to train quarterbacks or get into coaching, that I'm going to make sure that these guys get the best opportunity possible and learn at young ages on what to do and how to do it so that when they get to that level, they're ready to compete as freshmen. I started off with about 10 clients and I would, just do video of them and always, put on YouTube and market on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and just keep marketing. And then over time, it went from 10 to 30 to 60 to over 100. Now I'm at 160 clients consistently in Central Florida alone. It's just been amazing, man, to see where this has gone. And then through that, I've teamed up with some of the best around in the country. I'm having conversations with Steven Garcia, Kurt Warner, Kevin Olson, Quincy Carter, who's now one of my best friends, play at Dallas. It's just amazing to see how my training has taken, to the next level. Now, through that and meeting all these guys, I've started my second business, which is quarterback camps, where I travel the country. We're talking Texas. I was just in Charlotte, Fort Myers, obviously Orlando. And then through this pandemic, obviously starting my virtual school, which I did with Quincy Carter and Kevin Olson, where we break down the game mentally for these young guys. I have a passion for the young kids, between, third grade all the way up to eighth grade. They're ready to learn and they're ready to soak up all this information.
You speaking of a lot of the high name players that you interviewed and you had there as well to talk to some of the kids there. You had Jameis Winston down there, and I wanted to, how was that experience, not only for you and your company, but how was that experience with, the kids just being able to see wow, this is Jameis Winston, a quarterback from this area, that had some success. How was that experience not only for you, but for the children?
So, so through my obviously my camps and my trainings, I've been able to network and build big networks. And, even when I do have Quincy Carter around, especially parents, oh my goodness, that's a former Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback. Now in this generation, obviously now kids are geared towards more the current quarterbacks. And then now, I'm training here in Orlando a couple weeks ago, and through my networking, one of my best friends is Marvin Bracey, who is one of the fastest guys in the entire world, was in the Olympics and played at Florida State. He's got obviously relationships with a lot of guys that played at Florida State. And so, I was out there training on a Saturday morning about, a month ago. And all of a sudden, one of the kids looks over and he's like, that's Jameis Winston. So sure enough, he comes over to us. I was like, Jameis, I really do appreciate you coming. And, and he's like, man, I've never seen, this is the first time I've seen in a long time in Orlando since I've been, been here in training, that I've seen a group of quarterbacks coming together at young ages and doing what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is the passion. This is what I'm doing. One of the kids that I trained, Darion Coleman, who I believe is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's only in the 7th grade right now. He looks up to Jameis. So those kids can relate, to Jameis because they see him on TV now. So it was just like Christmas for those guys, and taking a picture with him and talking to him on a one-on-one level. He's right there. You never know, he might pop up tomorrow to my camp. You just don't know. So that's the beauty about these things and the things that I do is, building that network so that these kids have the opportunity to meet some of the guys I look up to and stuff.
Obviously, you got the Body Armor sitting there right next to you. You're affiliated with them. Tell us a little bit about that sponsorship and, how that came about. And then, go ahead, give you a little spill.
Yeah, so about 4 years ago, again, I did a whole year of my quarterback training. And that's when I decided to start the BTru's Advanced QB Camp, which is my camp. and I partnered with Steven Garcia, who I mentioned earlier, and he's actually the first guy I ever, partnered with and talked to kind of, join my team per se for my trainings and my camps. And we put on a camp together in Orlando, and through that, he's affiliated with Body Armor. And so the day before our camp, he couldn't get to Orlando to pick up his supply of Body Armor, so he told his rep that to just drop him off at my house. It was like 10:30 at night. I get a knock on my door, and sure enough, it's this guy from Body Armor, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm here to drop off some product." And I'm like, "What is going on here?" And he had his Body Armor van and everything, and I'm like, "Well, this is crazy." So he's like, "Yeah, I got a bunch of drinks, supplies for you for your camp tomorrow. We're really excited. Just make sure you market it." And I'm like, "Yeah, no doubt, no problem." And then he's like, "So tell me about yourself." So then I started going into my history of playing and my playing career and coaching and training quarterbacks, stuff like that, and putting on camps. And he's like, "Hey man, you know what? I actually want to sponsor you, and you're going to be taken care of forever." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yep. So occasionally I'll send you an email and let you know how to post and what to post and what your athletes should be doing and what you should do on your social media, and we'll supply your product." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is like a blessing in disguise. Like, this is crazy." So sure enough, man, ever since that day about, a couple years ago, it's been me and this guy who's our Florida rep, and he hooks me up anytime I want it. So I have, I have supplies of Body Armor, and I actually love the drink. It's amazing. It's great for, athletes. And so, I drink it no matter what, even if I'm not training. And then obviously through my trainings, I give the kids Body Armor. My camps will always be supplied by Body Armor. And so it's been such a great relationship, and now they just got bought out by Coke. Now I'm a part of the brand, so it's pretty cool now. And through that, I've also helped other guys that have been in my circle with my camps, got them affiliated with Body Armor as well. So now they're able to market it and just kind of grow the brand in a sense.
I can definitely tell that football brought a lot to you, and with you and your company and things like that. So tell somebody out there that isn't very fond on football or don't have a lot of football experience, what was the benefits of football that brought to you, and what is the importance of football to you?
So the game of football is much bigger than just throwing a football or just the ball that we see, the pigskin, right? So it's much more than that. It's the leadership, it's the accountability, it's the responsibility, it's the discipline. Discipline yourself to do the right things and learn and not just do everything individually, but also with a team around you. It takes 11 people to do a job. Accountability aspect of football, you could take it outside of the game and use it in your everyday life, just like discipline, and the leadership, being the quarterback and just being a coach in general, you have to have leadership qualities for people to follow. And so taking that outside of football and goes into your marriage, it goes into how you do things in the classroom, how you treat your parents, how you treat your relationships, stuff like that. So there's a lot of lessons that you can learn in the game of football that I've taken in sports in general. I don't want to discount any other sport. Sports is just so beautiful because it puts you in this situation where you're competitive, but also teaches you real life qualities and responsibilities that you can take outside of the game.
What's some advice that you might have for some kids coming up and, maybe some advice that you already give to some of the kids that you already train?
Yeah, do everything with purpose. That's my number one advice, is do things with purpose. That was something my dad instilled in me. Whether you eat with purpose, you play with purpose, you talk to people with purpose, you do everything with a purpose, because everything has a purpose. I just don't get why kids spend so much time watching other kids play Fortnite, but at the end of the day, the reason why they're watching those other kids is because they're good at their craft, right? And you know why they're good? Because they have a purpose. They want to be the best. So that's why these kids gravitate towards that. So why not you be the best at your craft instead of watching these guys, and helping them make money or help them become successful? Why don't you do the same? Why don't you go out there and do things with purpose? If you want to be a quarterback, go out there and train and live by purpose, study by purpose, watch film with purpose. Stop worrying about everybody else. Just start focusing on your craft and how you can perfect your craft, and stop comparing. And how about you be the one that they compare to? Treat your parents with purpose. I guarantee if you had a purpose of treating your parents right, there'd be less arguments and less restrictions. Do schoolwork with purpose. If you had a purpose of going to class and actually wanting to learn, you're going to learn. If you don't have a purpose, there's you're going to waste time and you're not going to get anything out of it.
That was a powerful message, and I do appreciate you giving out that advice to all kids that might be watching and things like that. It was definitely a blessing being able to talk to you today, Baylin, man. You have an incredible story. Appreciate you with everything you've been through, and like I say, I always love when people are, trying to better the next generation and trying to help the next generation. So we really do appreciate that. Can you tell the listeners who might be interested in your company where to find you and things like that?
On social media, you can find me on Twitter. I'm always active on Twitter at Baylin Trujillo. That's both on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to see me personally, I also got other pages. On Instagram, I have my BTruQBtraining page, as well as my advanced QB camp page. You can find, stuff like, what I'm doing on there. I have a website, BaylinTrujillo.com, where you can search me up and see what I'm doing. I always try to update that with videos. YouTube as well, just type in Baylin Trujillo. You can see what I'm doing. And then obviously Facebook, which, that's just more for personal use.
All right, Baylin, it was a pleasure talking to you today, man. We'll definitely be leaking in, making sure you, following you, making sure you're doing well. And I wish the best of luck with everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. God bless. And again, all glory to God, and just keep the main thing and have purpose. Again, appreciate you having me on here, and I look forward to seeing you guys all around and hearing from some guys all across the country and getting to link up and network that way. And thank you again. I'm blessed to be part of this, and I love what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing how this grows as well together.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Baylin Trujillo. He does incredible things with the kids that he trains, and I wish nothing but the best for him and his organization moving forward. We would like to thank Baylin so much for getting on with us today, and make sure you follow Baylin and the BTru organization. Make sure you follow Inside the Hatches online at InsideTheHatches.com, where you can find all our content, all our player interviews, and a whole bunch of other football-related content. Also, make sure you're following us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you listen to our podcast to find this interview right here. This is Jerome Jones. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.